This is a Hat Trick
podcast.
Oh, lovely.
Hello and welcome to In the News This Week, the podcast from some of the team behind Have I Got News For You, where we take you through our picks of the news this week when the TV show can't.
We'll be looking at both the serious and not so serious news items and trying to convince each other of which story we think would have been perfect for the show if it was on air.
Which it isn't. But let's introduce ourselves anyway. I'm Emerald Paston. I write on Have I Got News For You.
I'm Jack Harris, a sometimes producer of the show.
I'm Mike Rayment, sometimes series producer of the show.
And I'm Queenie Miller, the picture researcher for the show, which is obviously essential for a podcast.
Absolutely key.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Hope you're all doing well this week. Jack, how is your first week working on Have I Got News For You US going?
Yeah, good. For any listeners that missed the big announcement, Have I Got News For You is being remade in the States, and I'm over here meeting all the team.
Are the team just like carbon copies of us, but American?
That'd be awful.
No, they're not. I'm trying to assign people to different roles, clearly. No one's quite as misanthropic yet.
Okay.
It'd be very hard to be. And I say that that's a compliment, and I know you'll take it as such, Queenie.
I'm taking it as a compliment.
My one big takeaway, Antiperspirant is just insanely expensive. I've told so many Americans this. Guess how much a can of antiperspirant costs in a supermarket?
So this is your opening chat when you meet people?
$8.
Yep, this is what I go for.
This would engage me, Mike. This is a great way to make friends with me.
Have you met the weird British guy who talks about deodorant?
And calls it antiperspirant.
It's honestly, it's $10 plus. $10 is the cheapest. Like, I paid £8 for antiperspirant. I feel like it's a very British thing to do, to come in and go, it's very cool to be in New York, other than the absolutely extortionate prices for antiperspirant.
What an incredible takeaway.
You seem to be learning lots.
Yeah.
Can I just quickly say, as an aside, Love Island UK has made it across to the US. They're obsessed. They keep on talking to me about it. They do have to have subtitles on, but they like the word buzzing and stuff like that.
Oh.
And I'm a bit worried that that's our representation of the UK and the US, if I'm honest.
It's better than any of our politicians, to be fair.
Why don't we get started on round one, where we usually discuss the big topic of the week? But nothing is standing out loads this week, is it?
It's a tricky one. Between Have I Got News For You series, you get a lot of people online or emailing in saying, when's the series back? Why isn't Have I Got News For You on air? And I think this is probably a good way of explaining why it isn't on air over the summer, because you've got Parliament's in recess, so everyone gets to go on holiday. Even though Keir Starmer's actually cancelled his holiday.
God bless him.
Wow.
I think he's stung by those accusations from Rishi Sunak when they said half a day Keir. But the rest of Parliament's not around. I think a lot of journalists are on holiday. I think historically the show was started in the autumn because Parliament's bedded in, and then you come in just in time for the political party conferences, which we cover anyway, mostly just to show how shit they are. And then I think the summer series or the spring series was always where the election was. I mean, obviously you do sometimes miss stuff, like unfortunately we missed the election this time round.
So whilst there's not one huge story this week, it does feel like the Tory leadership race is hotting up a bit.
It's tepid.
It's lukewarming up at the moment.
Ooh, baby. Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the Tory leadership race. It's sort of happening now. They've decided who the six are going to be. So it's between Kemi Badenoch, James Cleverly, Robert Jenrick, Priti Patel, Tom Tugendhat and Mel Stride. Which,
What a gang.
You know, what I really enjoyed is there was a survey which said that 3 in 5 Britons don't care who becomes the next Tory leader, which you think is pretty sad for them.
I think you could ask that about any political party and you'd get similar.
Yeah, true.
I would even say 5 of 5.
Five of five Brits.
Britons don't care.
Yeah.
They also asked people who they thought would be a good leader and a bad leader. Priti Patel, I guess you could say it's a form of winning. She got -27. She got 17% thought she would be good. 44% said she'd be bad. She got the worst score, basically.
Wow.
But then Priti Patel, Kemi Badenoch, James Cleverly, Robert Jenrick and Mel Stride were all beaten in their net scores by Stuart Lewis, who got a +2 rating.
Who is he?
He's a made-up politician.
Oh.
They just put Stuart Lewis in the poll.
Like a
to say to
placebo.
people. The placebo got better than 5 out of the 6
Wow.
politicians. And the only one who actually did anything was Tom Tugendhat. He was also really showing off with a +1.
It's pretty good going.
And he put that on his
Yeah.
thing.
Didn't little Tommy Tugendhat clap back at Elon Musk and Starmer for their response to the riots? He was like, Elon Musk is delusional. That's the first bit of news I've heard about him for quite a long time. So I was just surprised he's back.
I think he realised he had to have an original thought, so he had to say something different from everyone else, and that was his stance.
The only thing I'd heard about him previous to that in this leadership race is that he had to change his slogan. Did you see this?
No.
So he had a slogan which was "Together we can unite the party, rebuild trust, defeat Labour," which he then had to change because it spelled out turd as the first letters.
This is going to run and run, isn't it? Because they're going to unveil them at the party conference.
Yeah.
They'll get down to 4 by the conference and then 2 by mid-October.
Is it like a fight to the death type of situation? Because you get down to 4 and then to 2.
It'll be an Olympics breakdancing situation, right?
Oh, God.
Who would be the best at breakdancing out of those?
Well, it's got quite hard because none of them have a backbone. So
Where?
it's kind of weird because you do all this, you've got to shit mouth all your opponents, and then the prize at the end is you get unveiled at the Tory party conference. It has got very big Apprentice winner's treat energy. I say this to somebody who I used to work on The Apprentice.
A couple of weeks ago, there was the news story about the yellow card scheme that they're bringing in for this Tory leadership race.
Yeah.
So if they diss each other too much, then the party chairman will show them the yellow card and they'll get rebuked. I don't even really know what that means.
I don't think it means anything.
They lose a
anymore.
finger or something.
Maybe. Yeah.
That feels like something fun we do on the show.
Yeah.
You've all got yellow and red cards. Do you remember Charlie Brooker's blue cards?
Ah,
Yes.
What were the blue cards? Yeah, explain it.
But basically, the week before, we had been accused of calling Boris Johnson a cunt, which wasn't us. We put up a quote from a cabinet member who called him a cunt.
To give the full quote, he called him a cosmic cunt.
A cosmic cunt,
Cosmic
yes,
cunt. But it was a
cosmic
quote,
cunt.
and that is justified under BBC editorial because you are quoting what someone else has said.
We made the front pages of the Mail on Sunday, which was quite fun. And then Charlie Brooker said, oh, well, in the interest of balance, I've also got these blue Tory cards, which say something bad about the other side of the party. So they'd say stuff like, Ed Miliband is a dot-eyed pont.
Yeah, Charlie just wrote those himself.
Elsewhere in Toryland, Queenie, you have something on Liz Truss, is that right?
Oh boy, do I have something on Liz Truss.
Yes, please.
I talked last week a little bit about how she came up to Edinburgh and that really kind of did something to my brain. I've just checked the chip that I've put in her arm. And she's been around the block this week. She stormed off stage when a banner unfurled behind her that said, "I crashed the economy," with a lettuce graphic with googly eyes.
Oh, wow.
And she kind of turned around and went, "That's not funny." And then she tweeted that that's not funny.
Which is really funny.
I noticed also in the picture where the banner's been unveiled, she's also wearing a bright green dress as well. So I don't know, it just somehow goes with the lettuce.
Very lettucey.
Very well. And also,
I thought you were about to say brat.
She is having a brat summer.
She is having a brat
You can't
summer.
deny it.
storming off stage is Brat.
There was a poll that went round where people said which politician fits the description of Brat.
Oh, I saw this and I wasn't even going to mention it.
I was so excited when I saw it.
And I didn't bring it up because I
wait.
was like, I know you guys are going to talk about this.
The one detail I really, really enjoyed is that they said, we asked people on the internet who said they knew what Brat meant, aged between 18 and 75.
Oh.
And the most amazing thing is of all the people they polled, they still had 4% of people who said, I don't know what Brat is.
Oh, no.
I just love how sad Mike is in this story.
Yeah. But Mike, you have a story that's been suggested to us. Is that right?
Yeah. So Laura wrote in this week and gave us a story, which I always really love. We get a lot of emails sent through of varying degrees of quality. This is a great one, but as Jack will know, we get stories sent through to Hatchet Reception. Some of them quite unmentionable or just bizarre. Laura got in touch to bring to our attention Baroness Jenkin. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with her. She's a Conservative Party peer, and she's been, well, there's nothing conservative about the questions she's been asking. She asked the government a few weeks ago, what is the policy on civil servants wearing fetish clothes in the workplace?
This is Brat.
Is she talking about the guide dog in its brace or something? in its collar? Is that what she's talking
The
about?
guide dog in its brace with its ball gag. No, she's talking about fetish clothes in the workplace. And she did get a response. The government said civil servants are required to dress appropriately for work, and this would not include fetish clothes. And as if that wasn't enough, a week later, Baroness Jenkin was at it again, and she asked another question, whether they considered bondage, domination, sadism and masochism to be a protected characteristic within the Equality Act.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
She's sort of doing it to poke the bear of like the transgender stuff, right? The kind of like
I take it back. It's not incredible.
Stuff.
It just sounds like she's asking after herself for her own personal life as well. That's where I'm taking it.
That's what's fun about it, isn't it? Is the thing that's come out of it. It's like, oh, she's interested in that, actually. Yeah. Rather than her thing of like, if I ask this question, it will open up this question about other issues. It's like, nah, people just think you're an idiot.
And obviously, the government have tried to restore the whip, but unfortunately, they just all like that.
Very good.
Did
you do that whole thing just for that part?
I did. Thanks, Laura.
So, I actually respect it. I do respect
just to say, in true Hignathy style, what would happen is we would bring the story up, and I think we wouldn't just give her the benefit of some free publicity. And I think it's fair to say she's had a bit of a past, and I'm sure Ian would be very quick to bring this up with his encyclopedic knowledge of politicians and wrong-uns. But yeah, in 2014, she was criticised for saying poor people had to use food banks because they didn't know how to cook.
Oh, she's that one.
But she's also, another interesting fact I learned, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole. Her husband is Bernard Jenkins. He's a Conservative MP. And on his Wikipedia page, because I use all the best sources, it said he's also an occasional naturist.
Really?
Yeah.
We had a guest pub from the Naturist Association, and I learned a lot.
That's what that is.
People often ask me what my regular London pub is, but that assumes there's a pub I can easily return to, so please stop asking that.
London Pub Reviews, written by Paul Ewan and featuring Tim Key. A hat-trick podcast.
Did you save my seat? Why? I'm at a completely different pub now, with different seats. Catch up.
Available now, wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to In the News This Week. It's round 2, where we each bring a news story from the past week that we think would be perfect to use for round 2 of the TV show. So, Queenie, what story have you brought this week?
Queenie,
Hello.
Queenie.
Jack does this whenever I enter a room. So, this came to me. Someone sent something in. It's a classic have I got news for you sign tampering situation. There are a couple people who have been sneakily changing signs around pool to say poo instead. And it's I wanted to say this without the actual reason, because the reason makes it politically poignant. But it's just to show the effect that sewage is having on the tourism industry of beaches in the UK. But they sent me like a little Google Drive of pictures. It's like a sign saying, "Welcome to the historic borough of Poo," and "Welcome to Poo Harbour."
I love this.
And just the train station sign that just says poo instead of pool. I'm liking all the multimedia protests at the moment. Banksy's about...
Is that a protest, or is that a man just making money anonymously?
I think that's a protest.
What's he protesting? People who don't like pictures of animals?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Mike's absolute cynicism.
Well, he's just done...
Banksy's a political artist.
I think he said, did he say that he's trying to bring fun into the world?
Oh, okay. Well,
what he
I respect that, and obviously enhances bank balance.
Also, Mike's acting all cynical, but Mike, you went and took a picture with one of them.
Yeah, exactly. You sent us a picture with the one.
Yeah, Mike likes to pretend he's kind of aloof and critical, but actually really likes
Yeah, Banks is too mainstream for me. I'll get a photo with it. I'll get a quick photo.
I'm feeling really attacked right now. Yeah, well, you know, that was my local fish bar. Shout out Bonner's Chip Shop. The owners were actually going to go on holiday for a month, and then he did that, and they had to rush back to open up.
That's bad.
Oh, wow.
They missed their holiday because of it.
If he's doing it to put a smile on people's faces, and I think that's really nice.
Cool. That was my story.
That's a fun story.
It's actually especially good because I didn't have to do any work to find it. So thank you, Gags and Joe Creative, who sent it to me.
Double whammy.
Jack, What is your round 2 story for the week?
So mine is like still a little bit of a wrap up of something from the Olympics. And it's this Filipino gymnast. His name is Carlos Yulo. And he won 2 gold medals, which is pretty big for the Philippines anyway, but then to win it in the same thing, and especially in gymnastics, is huge. But the reason he's been getting lots of press is because when he won his first gold medal, they were so happy as a country that he got a free house and loads of money. And he sort of arrived back in the Philippines, you know, big parade and stuff, and loads of people coming out. And he's just like the most relaxed guy. He's like, nah, I just want to keep quite a quiet life. But I will take my lifetime supply of colonoscopies, please, because that's also something he got for winning a gold. Yeah.
Wow.
Which I think, would I prefer a house or a lifetime supply of colonoscopies?
I think I'd prefer the house.
I mean, I prefer the house. I'd obviously prefer the house.
How much is a lifetime supply?
Are you not getting a colonoscopy every week, Mike?
I'm long overdue.
Related to this Olympian story, I saw a graphic of like which sports for the UK are the best value for money in the Olympics. A sport like hockey, they had £13.7 million of funding, but didn't get on any podiums.
Really?
Whereas artistic swimming only got 400,000 or so, and they won silver.
That was really sweet. The girl who won the artistic silver, she was like in tears. She could barely speak, and she was just saying like how hard it had been because basically they hadn't had any support and they'd had to sort of do it themselves, and they'd nearly quit. And yeah, it was really nice. Britain's one of only 4 countries that doesn't pay its Olympians bonuses for winning medals.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I think it's Hong Kong pays its athletes a whopping $750,000 per gold medal, and they're the top payers.
But how many colonoscopies are Hong Kong offering to their athletes?
My story's also Olympics related.
Oh, okay. Go for it, Mike.
Mine was also survey related. So it's a YouGov survey, and 1 in 4 Brits think they could qualify for the 2028 Olympics if they started training today.
Ooh. I am one of those Brits.
Oh, really, Queenie?
I love this. So good.
Do you know what? That actually, the data backs up your statement, because of the age groups who said they could, it was 18 to 24-year-olds were the most confident on 39%.
I have unbridled self-esteem. That's what's happening here.
If you had to pick an Olympic sport and they're like, you're going out there in 4 years, whether you like it or not.
I'm just way overconfident in my table tennis skills.
I love
that.
I
can't even put spin on the ball. But I really do think I could do it.
That's great.
Do you know what?
Yeah, so good.
Table tennis is it's in the top 4. It's 9% of people thought they could qualify, which is ridiculous. Have you seen? I actually went to see Olympic table tennis. They're standing so far back. They're like at the exit.
And you can't even see the ball.
And they're just hammering this ball.
I think based on what I've seen, I think if you gave me 4 years, I'd give breakdancing a good go. Like, fair play. I think
I would pay good money to
genuinely,
see that. I'd pay your bonus if you got on there.
these limbs flailing around, yeah.
The sport people most thought they could do was air rifle shooting.
See, I think that's fair.
After they saw that guy
The casual guy
who had no
The
equipment
Turkish guy.
and whose pose actually is like detrimental to shooting well, like hand in one pocket.
What was the list, Mike? So
shooting, archery, badminton.
Easiest sport in the world. Are we kidding?
What?
The thing is so light. The thing moves so slowly. Easy.
You
It's
heard
hard to
Snoop
think of
Dogg's
all.
commentary from the other week.
Yeah, I
Active
can't go
game.
against Snoop Dogg. Actually, to be fair.
I find it interesting that just below these, on 6%, is the 100-metre sprint, which just shows how insane people are. I think people have missed the trick, because I don't know if you saw, but there's competitive walking. And I can't believe more people haven't picked that.
mate, they are so good. Have you seen them? They're so fast. They are so
it's
insanely
quite a
fast.
skill.
I thought this as well.
Easy.
I once met an Irish, he was in the Irish team in the kind of development squad for walking, and he was so quick. It was insane. I was exactly the same. I thought it was such a bullshit sport, but my God, can they walk fast?
Emerald, what's your story this week?
My story this week is maybe another silly sciencey story.
Fun.
The question is, do you have a bumper sticker that is kind of rude? If so, you might have psychopathic tendencies, according to one study. Basically, scientists have found that those who like to mock political differences in public, on their car or with their T-shirts,
Or on a podcast.
they're associated with dark personality traits. They describe it as ideological poking. So it's displaying political symbols designed to mock their opponents. And they score highly for psychopathic traits.
So these bumper stickers, who are they made by? Is it like people on Etsy? Because I think people who Jones Etsy for like a kick are probably psychopaths.
It's people that are trying to deliberately rile up someone with something they're wearing or they're posting. So they had 500 US residents. They all completed a questionnaire assessing their tendency towards dark personality traits. And then he presented them with a range of political slogans and bumper stickers tailored to whether they were Democratic or Republican. And then some of them were just supportive, like vote Harris. But others were attacks on the other side, such as confuse a Republican, use facts and logic.
That's so Ben Shapiro on Twitter. That's amazing.
I better take off my Ed Davey bumper sticker.
What would your Ed Davey bumper sticker say?
It would be Mr. Bump, but it'd be his face.
My other car's a waltzer.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah.
You'll find me on the teacups.
You guys are great at this. I actually have a game for you, which is...
Yes.
It's an odd one out, but basically which one of these slogans did I not find on sale on a bumper sticker? Okay. So number 1 is a Trump bumper sticker that says, "Finally, someone with balls."
A Trumper sticker.
A Trumper sticker. Very good, Queenie. Number 2 is a Brexit bumper sticker. "Leave means leave. We voted. We used our voice to be heard. So listen, Brexit."
How big's the car?
One of them is a pro-EU sticker for balance, saying, "If this van's a rockin', don't bother asking for a derogation." And the final one is, "Biden is not a socialist. It'd be cool if he was, though." So what are you guys thinking? Which one of those did I not find on sale?
I want to shout out that the last one is the lamest.
It's a fake.
What was the first one again?
The first one was "Finally someone with balls" on a Trump bumper sticker.
They've all had balls. They've all been men.
Right?
So one of them's fake.
One of them's fake. Yeah. Do any of them especially appeal to you as well?
I like the pro-EU
I hope
one.
the Remain one
Yeah,
is
I-
fake.
yeah.
I hope the pro
I actually
It's
hope
too
it's
mental.
real because it doesn't rhyme and it doesn't do anything. I think the Leave one is fake.
It's too long.
Well, you're wrong. That Leave one has 2 purchases on Amazon. It's got 5 stars.
That's my parents.
The fake one is, "If this van's a rockin', don't bother asking for a derogation," which was, I think, Politico
Thank
made it up as a
God.
slogan. But as far as I'm aware, no one has used it on a bumper sticker. It's made up.
It was
by
so lame, I really
implication.
believed it. That was good.
Well, maybe since you guys believed it's real, maybe you guys need to make it and start selling it.
Pay for that deodorant.
Okay, so it's time to vote on which story we think would have been the best for round 2 of Have I Got News for You. So, Mike, what story do you think should win this week?
I'm definitely going with Queenie's signs. I think it's really fun. I love a visual reference. It's got everything. It's got a bit of pure rawness. It's got some nice reveals, some great stills, but then you can also get into the actual story about the sewage and I think, fun facts about what water company CEOs are paying themselves. So, Queenie gets my vote.
Thanks.
Queenie, what about you?
I also want to vote for me because I think it's perfect, but I will actually have to go for Mike because I got too into the kind of imagining myself as an Olympian, the kind of 18 to 24 headstrong. I could do that really easily kind of thing when you're watching the Olympics. So I think it's a fun discussion.
What about you, Jack?
Yeah, good question. I guess I do like Mike's story. Olympics-wise, it's very fun, and it's the sort of thing where we would get some good questions out as to what people thought they were actually good at, and would give us an excuse to sort of mop up some of the Olympic stuff we've had previously.
And Emerald, what about you? Who are you going for?
So I think I'm going for yours as well, Mike, because
Oh, wow.
I just think it would be so fun to see what the panel are saying about which sports they would like to do.
Yeah.
So I think it has to be this. And it's the last of our Olympic stories, so let's enjoy
Yeah,
it.
farewell the Olympics.
So congratulations, Mike. You're going to be in the hosting chair next week.
It's what I deserve. Thank you for listening to In the News this week.
For updates on the show, make sure you're following Have I Got News for You on Instagram, TikTok and X, formerly known as Twitter.
You can also get in touch with us there using the hashtag HignifiPod or emailing podcasts@hattrick.com. That's hattrick with 2 T's.
Make sure you're followed and subscribed to the podcast wherever you're listening to it now, and we'll see you here for next week's episode. Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
In the News this week is presented by Jack Harris, Queenie Miller, Emerald Paston and Mike Rayment. The producer is Diggory Waite. The engineer is John Wakefield. The executive producer is Claire Broughton. And the music is by Big George. In the News this week is a Hat-Trick podcast.
Welcome to It's All Greek and Latin to me. I'm Jimmy Melville, a TV producer who fell in love with classics as a boy at a comprehensive school in Liverpool.
And I am Armand Dangour, Professor of Classics at Oxford University.
So he does know what he's talking about. Each episode, Armand and I are going to unpick a phrase or a piece of writing that was written over 2,000 years ago by the ancient Greeks or by the Romans and show you just how relevant it is in this very day.
So, does carpe diem really mean seize the day as we know it? Who actually was Oedipus behind the Oedipus complex? And exactly why did Archimedes shout, Eureka, in the bath? We'll answer all those questions and more as we unpack the greatest literature from the classics.
Can't wait.
Listen and subscribe to It's All Greek and Latin to Me, wherever you get your podcasts.